we're going to talk offense. I know everybody wants to talk the O. Everybody's not happy with the O, and I get it. We'll complain together. But first, shout out to our partners here over at Sleeper. If you're not checking them out for daily fantasy football, you are definitely missing out. They provide you all some of the best odds out there, and one of the best things they're giving right now is $20 for just signing up. So let me go ahead and pick a couple of pieces real quick. Let's look. I'm going to go ahead and take Caleb Williams. We'll take him as the promo. He's a free pick. We'll take him more on his stats. We're going to look at, you know what, I'm going to take Cook as well. We'll go more on him, less on Thornton because I don't think his receiving yards are going to really hit. But all you got to do is pick two or more players, pick more or less on their stats, and boom, you are in the game. And so let's see if you can beat me, and I'll take Rome Odunze as a touchdown because I think Caleb will actually throw that. So check them out. Use our promo code UNFAIR. They're going to hook you up, 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. Plus, it's going to give you $20 just for signing up. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Thank y'all for pulling up per the usual. Hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. Shout out to my mods. They're working. If you're being disrespectful, they're probably going to delete your message. So watch yourself. I'm just going to tell you that now. We're all on edge, and I totally get it. We are all on edge. And there's nothing wrong with being on edge and being disappointed. But once again, my mods will not tolerate disrespectfulness outside of like just us individually being at us. Just be chill. We get it. You're upset. Cool. Deep offense. Jesus Christ.
Again,
Lord, have mercy. Pray for all of us. We need this because my goodness. What? Go ahead, Coop.
I will say this. We know what the issues are. And we know what this offensive line, they're just not getting it. But I will say it's been the same story for 6 games, Jay. It's not a different story. The thing that really made today, or I guess yesterday, bad was the fact that it looks like John Mateer had not played football in 3 weeks. And BV gave us he's done no good on good. And I will shout out the Scoop guys, George and Eddie. I feel like at the end of the day, just focus on the damn team, coach your football team, and let's quit with stupid theatrics. Let's quit with everything. Let's quit with, the Mateer stuff. There's always been the stuff about Jaden Ott. There's always been some cute crap. And we just got to, there's no game plan. There's no identity. This year on offense, it has been, okay, John Mateer go out there and do John Mateer things, and he has been able to do them. I don't know what the hell was going on at the end of the first half. That was some of the most ignorant, absent of football IQ, play calling. Everything about it was just ridiculous. But John Mateer, dude goes out and throws the ball 40 times? 17 days after surgery?
20 for 38.
But that's your go. I feel like Arbuckle was scared to run the ball at times. Listen, Trey Wisner has the 37-yard. Or Mason Thomas lets him go. He takes off. He goes. Outside of that 37-yard, you hold him to 2 yards a carry. But you still got to count it, right? You still count the river card when you're playing Hold'em. You got 7 cards you get to use. If you quit running the ball altogether, you have no chance at keeping people off your quarterback. You've got no chance at breaking one of those bigger ones. And I feel like that was one of the things that was just really, really confusing. X-Rob been hurt all season. So listen, there needs to be a coming to Jesus meeting, and it needs to be not from the players. It needs to be from the coaching staff and be like, hey, listen, because, Jay, we're on the clock to go out to South Carolina, who just fired their offensive line coach, and they're looking to. I mean, listen, if you got Oklahoma coming in, this is a great opportunity for a big morale boost for your team because they're still ranked.
Yeah, no, it is.
But on offense, it is whatever's going on. Listen, if there's if anybody outside of pretty much Arbuckle at this point, offensive coach, if there was a notification that pops up in the middle of our show that Emma Jones, DeMarco, Bill Bedenbaugh, Joe John Finley, if any of those guys got canned tonight, I'd be okay with it. There's not one of them that I would not be okay, that I would be like, that doesn't make sense. Because Arbuckle took over this, whatever's going on with this offensive line. You can't keep 8 dudes healthy. With wide receivers, I keep seeing really, really piss poor execution of routes, how you're running routes, where they're doing stuff, not sitting down. It's bad. And everybody wants to blow up Jade Knott for the end around, or it looked like he didn't block. That was on Burks, 100% on Burks.
I don't know. Felt like he should have just at least went up there and put contact on.
Yeah,
Anthony Hill. I mean, it's Anthony Hill. You know he's going to make a play. You know who number 0 is on defense.
Yeah,
that's like ignoring David Stone.
It is. But I will just say this: is there's nobody out there that looks. I mean, there's no coach out there that I feel like is really just crushing it. No, and it's hard.
I don't think you're wrong there at all. Like, to me, it's like every OC we've brought in hasn't brought in their own staff, right? We've got people that kind of held over. And I know that Arbuckle really likes Bill Bedenbaugh, so I don't expect Bedenbaugh to go anywhere. We also haven't done a really good job of making sure Bedenbaugh has all the resources that he needs. As we've talked about before, people complain about the recruiting all the time. We ain't got Michael Fasusi. Fasusi only comes here because of Bill Bedenbaugh. And Fasusi actually had a solid game. Like, you're not getting him without Bedenbaugh. You're not getting Fogier without Bedenbaugh. You're not getting Tyler Guyton without Bedenbaugh, right? Like, the list is, the problem is we need to get better on the interior right now. That's where we need to improve. Ozaida's improving. He still needs to get better because, all players got to get better. They all need to step up. We need to get some mean dudes out there that actually can do both pass and run blocking. That's what we don't have right now. We have dudes that are mean enough to do both. But the running backs also need to hit the hole that's right there in front of them. Like Torrey Blaylock,
and I'm not
killing.
I'm not calling for anybody to be fired. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised. Now, it's Bill Bedenbaugh didn't have the NIL, and then now he does. He's starting to see some of these guys come in here, but it just starts to feel like whatever's going on with the guy. Is it bad luck with the injuries? I mean, because Jake Taylor and Jake Sexton pretty much. It's like a trial, like when you do a trial period. Like you're 7 weeks up. Your 7 days is up, and you don't have access to them anymore. So, to me, let's see if X Rob is healthy. It looks like he hurt his shoulder. Torrey Blaylock did solid in his pass blocking. Just keep him in the game at all times. He needs to do a better job with his vision and hitting those holes. There was a couple of spots where he did the hesitation and ran. He may have got like 5 yards, but he could have got like 25 if he would have just burst it up. There were spots. And I think that's what it is, and that's where everybody in their DeMarco Murray mindset is of we need to do better with the coaching there. And, I mean, I agree with you. I don't disagree with anybody on that. We also need to scheme it up a little bit better. Arbuckle, like I said, Arbuckle got taken to the woodshed by PK. Kwiatkowski knew exactly what he was expecting from this dude, and he was like, all right, I'm gonna make sure that he is forced to go underneath at all times. He will not beat me deep, but I will have my linebackers hover well enough and stunt well enough to where he feels pressure when it's not really there. So remember, I noticed one thing about Mateer.
during the game, he kept putting his hand behind his back like this. I went and watched the game again, and I just saw nothing. As the game continued, those white pants got a red spot on them that got redder and redder and redder as the game progressed. Dude was bleeding from his thumb. Now, he'll tell you he didn't feel no pain. He was good. He was playing. But I think that ball started to get slippery in the second half. I think that blood was starting to run and get into the way of what he was trying to do. And you could tell. And kind of as it was mentioned in the comment section, and I said this on my morning after video, you should have just went in and played Hawkins in the second half. Because I know Michael Hawkins would have went out there and at least continued to do the slow and put a similar game plan as Arch. Just go slow and steady. Mm-hmm. Keep pushing that ball up the field because Hawkins can do it. He would have caused them to have to think about it. They would have made Kwiatkowski think. PK would have had a plan, but he still would have been thinking. And that's what you wanted to do. That defense didn't feel like they had to think. Felt like they were just kind of in autopilot the whole time. Because if you set that up properly, you figure out a little option play or something. I think that Hawkins could have been very serviceable. Heck, Hawkins could have probably kept the chains moving. That's the most important part. Second half, you couldn't keep the chains moving. And I don't know if the defense even felt confident in the offense at that point.
Why would you?
Yeah, the way they performed. I looked at the third quarter. As you mentioned, right? Third quarter, we got 5 yards.
Hey.
5 yards in the third quarter. And I'm not joking. That is for real because there was only 3 possessions in the third quarter. Texas touchdown on a 75-yard drive on 14 plays, 7 minutes and 11 seconds. They were 10 for 17 on third down. This was the only team that's been very successful on us on third down so far this season. Still highly ranked in the country, but this was the only team that found success on it. Because Texas went out there and made a plan. It was slow down. They had a ton of penalties. We did what we were supposed to do on the penalty side. They had, 4 for 31, and it was at the wrong times every time. They still found a way to take your time. For us, man, and if everybody's asking the question, why would we play an injured John Mateer in this game instead of going ahead and throw Hawkins out there, keeping it a buck is very simple. Arbuckle and Mateer are the only 2 dudes that know the playbook inside out. They're the ones that can make the on-the-spot adjustment. Mateer said he felt good. I get it. I wouldn't have done it. I would have ran a more scripted offense. Because remember, Buck ain't been here a year yet. He hasn't. Same thing with Levy. When Levy had Dylan our first year, there was a lot of figuring stuff out. Plus, BB was figuring out the defense. But 23, you saw a different animal. Because everybody had that offense in their system. Right? You only had a couple of new people to teach. A couple. Like the new receivers you brought in the portal, but you had dudes that you held over from the year from 22 that was understanding the offense, understanding the placement, where they need to be, and also understanding Dylan Gabriel's arm. A lot of dudes don't know Mateer's arms. But outside of that, though, Coop, this is the thing that bothered me the most about how this offense played. And y'all are all on the run game, and I totally agree with y'all on that. Dog, people were wide open.
There was a bunch.
There were wide open receivers streaking. The interception, the first interception that Mateer threw, and this is why I lost my mind. I'm watching it from the end zone at the game, and I'm like, dude, Satania's wide open. It looked like he panicked and threw it into triple coverage. I go back and rewatch it at 2:30 this morning because I couldn't sleep. I'm looking at this, and I'm like, and they said in the broadcast, Satania right here, wide open. And I'm just like, son of a, come on, man. He was right there. And that's the thing that got me, is that he was right. Satania was open. There was a few times. Shout out to him. If I'm going to give some good love in this game, in this one, Burks had one of his better games. You start to see him really moving around. Satania's butt was finding ways to get wide open a lot. Like a lot in this game. Weren't hitting him. And even Mateer said it. My eyes was in the wrong spots. He was more concerned about not making mistakes, that he made a bunch of them. So, I gotta wait another year to play against him. The questions in the comment section. I promise you, I think Mateer's coming back next year. No reason for him to leave now, unless he goes for like $350 a game for the rest of the year. Dude will be back.
No, and When it all breaks down is Texas found a way in the second half. John Mateer, dude didn't play in the third quarter. You had literally 3 plays. Those 3 plays didn't go well, but going into the BV always talks about you got to win those final 4, and that the final 4 going in, final 4 coming out, first 4 of the game, last 4 of the game, right? So you basically could go up 9-3 with whatever momentum that there was to be had. You don't do it right. I don't know what happened. Then you got then you come in, you go through the first drive for Texas. You go 3 and out. We go 3 and out quite often on our first second half possession. Like it's a common theme. I'd like to see. I bet we do it more often than not. And then John Mateer doesn't get back in, so he had plenty of rest.
Yep,
he had plenty of rest. He literally played for 3 snaps in a 25-minute period. And three. He throws the interception. He throws the interception at the end of the first half.
Hey, man. Stop. We're going to talk about that right now. Hey, man. Look. I understand the sentiment of Burks is just out there. I'm going to chunk it. My boy, Deion Burks is 5'9". We don't do that with a 5'9" wide receiver. You hit him streaking. He was open too initially, but it was the hesitation.
It was
the hesitation that kicked our butt in that play. The time management piece. We talk about BV and his struggles with that. I think this was on Arbuckle. They probably should have called a timeout as soon as they made that substitution and Texas took their time. Should have immediately hit the boom. Gives you about 35 seconds. You could have got it to about 30. You realize what was happening. Called a timeout. You knew it was going to go down. Use that timeout there instead of at 10. You could have got a play off. You could have probably got that quick play off to Burks. Get the first down. The time's going to stop. You run up there. You spike it. Get your field goal. Walk out the door. Or you hit for the end zone. You don't make it and you kick the field goal. Let Sandell show you what that left leg looked like. You didn't do that. That pass was ridiculous. You threw it right to Manny Muhammad, giving him 2 picks in this game. Straight to him. That was the problem. Like the third interception was a tip pass that, off multiple hands. Yeah. That one, egregious. Egregious, Coop. Why would you even flick it to the right? You at least had 2 dudes over there playing, somebody play jump ball. No. If you do that to me, if you're going to just throw it out there to somebody, Javonte Gibson needs to be that dude out there doing that. In which, luckily, he should be back next year as well.
And here's the thing. When it's all said and done, man, I just really feel like maybe it was a mistake to have Mateer out there. He threw a lot of balls in harm's way, and he's gotten away with a lot this year. He's gotten away with a lot. He's already thrown several interceptions, but he's had a lot dropped too. Texas just caught him. They got him this week, and this is one game. But I will have to say this. Going into next year, I don't care what the record is. I think that I will be hard-pressed to pick OU to beat Texas next year until they show me that some of these coaching gaffes and this just mental blocks have been fixed.
Yeah.
Because it's not been close three of the 4 years. And it's got to get better. Now, do I think that this game is going to change next week's game? No, they're 2 different things. We're here to talk about the Texas game. On Wednesday, we'll start breaking down South Carolina. But
yeah, that was a breakdown.
Defense. Like I said, defense. You still hold them to right at 304 yards, 20 yards in the first quarter.
Way better than I expected, dog. First quarter, like you said, first quarter was a total of 40 yards of offense from them total. I don't think they netted that, but that's what they got in total. Like, it was very, very, very conservative on total offensive yards. Second quarter, 74 yards, so you start to see them ramp up. But the third quarter is when you start to see them cook. Third quarter, only 140 yards of total offense. We had 26. That's not the net. That's the total. Yeah. But 93 passing yards, 47 on the ground.
But
they were
when you give the ball up, you take away yards. There's a lot of hidden yards, right? So all 3 interceptions, you don't have a 50-yard net punt at the back end of that possession. So, and especially when you do it on downs, because we turn the ball over on downs twice.
Yeah.
So it's when at the end of the day, the defense played well enough to win, and the offense. This feels like the Tennessee game from last year. I said that to you before we started up. Except for we didn't cause any of the turnovers, because I can promise you this: after the first 2 drives for Texas, it looked like everything that everybody was predicting from the OU side, that the Arch was in hell. And I just give it up to Arch, and give it up to Sarkisian, and give it up to Trey Wisner. Those guys, they kept grinding. They really did keep grinding.
They did. That's exactly. They kept the grind going. That was the most important thing, is that they kept pushing. But at the same time,
I will say, Benji, you got it right. The most exciting play on offense I think I saw was David Stone and Jaden Jackson rolling out there.
That was fun. I just don't know if I want to have much fun right now with how bad everything was going, dog. Just brutal. All right.